This week, the United States marked the 15th anniversary of its military invasion and occupation of Afghanistan with no end in sight. The Washington Post reports that President Obama is seriously considering a plan that would leave a significant troop force in the country after 2016, a move that would end his plans to bring U.S. troops home before he leaves office. Just days before this anniversary, a story that is still unfolding as I prepare this piece, Doctors Without Borders Hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan, was hit in an air raid by U.S. forces in an act that resulted in over 20 dead and over 40 wounded, and leaves open serious unanswered questions about whether or not the United States forces actually targeted the hospital on purpose, an unthinkable act that would be hard to entertain except for the unfolding facts on the ground and the unfortunate history of verifiable incidents where the United States military has targeted hospitals. As it is in Afghanistan, the open-ended nature, in fact the never-ending nature of the global war on terror means the next elected president of the United States will have to weigh the profits and the pressures of a hungry American empire against what? Against the ever-increasing challenges for defenders of U.S. foreign policy to actually appear like human beings? Hillary Clinton is applying for the job, and at a recently staged pageant by NBC, she was actually asked a question, a pointed one, by a combat veteran about her connection to war profiteers and the continued acquisition of power over the very structure of our society by the pervasive military-industrial complex. Wake up, Hillary. Take a look.
Secretary Clinton, I served in Iraq as an Army infantryman in 2004 and 2005. I lost friends a year of my life, and I suspect I'll be coping with the experience as long as I live. You gave a rather famous, rousing speech in support of the War Powers Act, which allowed President Bush to go into Iraq. Given your history and your close ties to elements within the military-industrial complex, what assurances can you provide that companies and individuals who profit from war and militarism will not have undue influence in the Clinton administration?
The undue influence of profits in war, excellent question. Politely embedded in that question is a truth not spoken enough, or spoken all too often amongst a converted choir, that profits, that greed are what drive war, period. He could have asked Ms. Clinton, are we fighting the global war on terror because 3,000 people got killed on September 11th? Or were 3,000 people killed on September 11th because the United States has been swinging its nuclear-tipped disco stick, figuratively and sometimes literally, all over the world for the past 70 years, not in pursuit of our freedom, but in pursuit of profits? But he didn't phrase his query thusly because such poetry, while appreciated by a very tiny niche of viewers like you, dear Acronym TV viewer, would be treated in the canned environment of an NBC Today show, all mocked up to look like a real roll-up-your-sleeves and answer the tough questions town hall produced in a desperate attempt to make Hillary appear human, as somewhat hyperbolic, perhaps, grandstanding, seriously unserious. In truth, it would not have yielded this answer.
And I appreciate it, and I also appreciate, your service, and I'm well aware that you and now millions of Americans who have served are going to be living with the consequences of that. I've said my vote to give Bush the authority was a mistake. I misjudged what he would do with it, and I am very regrettable. It's very regrettable about that. And
I'm sorry, did you say you misjudged what George Bush would do with the power to go to war? This guy?
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
What exactly did you think that he meant? It was the clearest he ever was! Folks, foreign policy under Hillary Clinton will be no different than foreign policy under George Bush or Barack Obama, and perhaps even Bernie Sanders, because each job has a written job description, the one you swear to on the Bible in the freezing cold January afternoon, and the unspoken deeper truth that the President of the United States is the chief gangster for capitalism. We are told repeatedly that all this violence is to secure the peace, to protect our freedom. Fill in your own killing for peace is like verbing for nouns here. We tolerate these lies, in part because we don't want to dishonor the dead, or sometimes worse, dishonor the walking wounded by implying that they kill and get killed and carry around that shit for a lie. And so we can watch this robot claim she is for diplomacy in one breath.
I believe in diplomacy.
And then and for patrolling the skies to enact regime change in the next.
Remove Assad, who is really one of the major reasons why the conflict is going on, which from my reading cannot be done unless we get everybody together to try to patrol the skies, is going to be very difficult.
And then seconds later, play our part, clap on cue, and take us off into commercial where we'll sell some products by some really poor people in China who have to have suicide nets around their dormitories so as not to kill them when we make our videos on our... Not brought to you by Mac.
So we're back in a moment, but first, this is today on NBC.
My name is Dennis Traynor Jr., and you've been watching Acronym TV. What do you stand for? Acronym TV is independently produced and individually supported by individuals like you at acronymtv.com/donate. Acronym TV also receives additional underwriting support from Occupy.com, a global mouthpiece for the 99%. Find out more and support them there at Occupy.com.